Again, I know small sample size. Shut up about it.
Shut up.
We get it.
Stop commenting on YouTube about it.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer. In the Soch Shack tonight, Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds, and joining us virtually, he is a man who wears many hats and hosts many shows, host of the Fantasy Pros Dynasty podcast, host of the In This League Fantasy Football and Baseball show, and host of The War Room. It is our good friend, Scott Bogman. Scott, how are you, my friend?
I am doing great, gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me on again. This is a yearly tradition. This is so much fun. I'm more than yearly. I'll be on here 4 or 5 times this year, I'm sure. So love doing shows with you guys and excited to talk a little IDP here.
Yes, sir. We've got you back now. 3rd year in a row. We're going to be talking post-draft winners and losers, Scott. And we were talking a little bit before we got on. Not our favorite term, losers. These gentlemen are extremely gifted athletically. They're multimillionaires, so they're doing just fine. This
losers.
Is losers. This is strictly double L losers based on post-draft, their fantasy stock taking a little bit of a hit or a little bit of a bump if they dodged a bullet in the draft. We're going to talk about both sides tonight, veteran winners and losers post-draft. Scott, we've done this show now for a couple years. This will be year number 3. I feel like this is a good way to kind of reset the decks after free agency, after the draft. These rosters pretty much set. We'll see where Aaron Rodgers lands. We'll see if Kirk Cousins finds a team. There'll probably be some trades and some veterans that will be yet to be signed maybe as we get closer to training camp. But this is a good way to kind of reset the decks and look ahead now fully to 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll have, pre-camp injuries and then camp injuries and a little bit of movement there. There could be movement that affects what we say today, of course, still. But I think just like you said, getting a good look after the draft, going back over the depth chart, seeing where guys landed or nothing changed. So some of these guys are getting a boost just because of that. It's good to do that at this point in the year.
Yeah, there's going to be some gross names, gentlemen, but that's
good though.
That is good. This is the time of year to be like, you know what? This guy sucks, but he's got an opportunity.
Zach Bond would have been one of those gross names last year.
Right. We were not buying the Zach Bond hype, the resurgence, Bobo, from a guy that up to that point had played about 5 snaps in the NFL.
I think I drafted Zach Bond. I look back in the XFFL history and I think, what year would he have come out? Like 2017?
2019, a little later.
But I think he was a little 5th round.
There you go. Should have held him.
Didn't believe in him, did you?
Didn't
you give up on him.
He took that personally.
Jordan, we got a few folks tonight that I think are going to be out there on their waiver wires. So
and let's just kick it off with
2020 for Bond, by the way.
2020. There we go.
Gotcha.
The COVID draft. Yeah, you just should have held out, Bobo. You had a weird start, with the COVID season.
Right, yeah.
Should have just been patient, man.
Blame on the COVIDs.
We're gonna start with one of those gross names, Scott. And like it or not, winners from the draft. We thought maybe the Las Vegas Raiders were going to upgrade their linebacker room. They did not. And so Devin White, Elandon Roberts, come on down. Yes, we're actually doing this again. These 2 guys are the definition of Jag, but Scott, they're cheap. Devin White by our ADP, linebacker 73, Elandon Roberts, LB 52. So unless you're a Tommy Eichenberg believer, and he's probably a good stash, honestly, these 2 are your presumptive week 1 starters for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this is like purely a play for 2025 and probably like just the first half of the season. I don't think this team and this defense is going to be that good. White's been bad for 2 seasons, 2023, worst output since his rookie season. And in 2024, he scored a grand total of 20 points. Elandon Roberts played 16 games in 2024 and scored in double digits twice. He had 79 total points, his worst season since 2019. So this, Scott, is the ultimate opportunity is king play because these guys gave you nothing last year. But I mean, like it or not, Vegas had a lot of holes that they had to fill on this roster, and they chose to punt LB to 2026 and maybe beyond. So they didn't upgrade the room. And I think you just draft one of these guys, stash Eichenberg if you want a little handcuff there and see what happens. What say you about the Las Vegas Raiders linebackers?
I mean, I think you described it perfectly, right? It is 2 Jags and maybe Tommy Eichenberg mixed in here. Elandon Roberts specifically, you know, watching him play for my Steelers, he's a run stopper. He's in on rundowns. He's not going to be in. He's a liability in coverage. He's very good at the goal line, which is where he does his best work because he shoots gaps really well, but just not a stat compiler at all. Devin White was, but seems like he's lost a step. He never had instincts really at any point. He just had speed. So I don't know, man. I think if Eichenberg takes over for one of them, it's probably going to be Devin White. But I kind of see Landon Roberts as a rundown only guy, a goal line only guy, but he is going to be starting on a snap in, snap out basis for this team. He'll probably, is he going to wear the dot? I think he'll probably get it. I just, this is a rough area, but they definitely won because Anthony Hill will probably be making all their tackles after next year's draft as the top middle linebacker off the board to the Raiders at some point here. So I don't know, man. This it's an ugly scenario in Vegas there.
I love Scott going Devy on us and giving us the
Yes,
top
sir.
middle linebacker.
My Texas guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love that. They need some help.
It's a shame that they weren't able to bring in Christian Ellis. That
Right.
New England matched that off. I mean, they have, New England has like 30 linebackers. They could have let him go.
Yeah, that would have probably been the guy, honestly.
Oh my God, he would have tore it up. I feel like he would have balled. I think he's actually pretty good.
This was my low-key favorite landing spot for Jack Sanborn,
Yeah.
who I still like in
that would be
Dallas,
good too.
right? But you think about Pete Carroll, used to playing with Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Jordan Brooks, and now he's like, dear God, I think I might have to retire after playing a season with Devin White and Elandon Roberts as his starting linebackers.
Yeah, it's a tough scene there. I would lean towards Elandon Roberts as well, though, if I got to pick one of the two, just because that dude knows how to eat some tackles.
Right, and he sucks less. I just think it's Jover for Devin White.
Yeah.
I think you can roll him out there week 1 just because I think he's going to be the starter, like unless we hear differently in training camp.
But man, surely you're not in that situation.
Right. Hopefully you're not in that situation, Bobo. Because if so, your roster better be stacked somewhere else.
I think another little small winner from all this is Jeremy Chin. You know, we saw a little bit of resurgence from that 2020, 117 tackles, 21, 107, and then dipped in 22 and 23 last 2 years with the Panthers. But then last year back with Quinn, or with Quinn, not back with him, but 117 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception. So I think if there's going to be anybody that kind of mops up those sloppy tackles there in Vegas, Chin is somebody that I'm ready to double back down on. So
It's a fantastic call out.
get him Chin.
Yeah, he should be a lot of leakage through to his level of the defense, I would say.
Gets the
Probably
linebacker tag on sleeper.
There you go. Ooh.
He's probably the best linebacker on that team.
Right,
now.
yes.
I mean, honestly.
Truly.
Do you guys think they'll sign somebody? There's still like Kaiser White, I guess.
Juwan Bentley, maybe. Yeah, there's
Bentley.
CJ Mosley if he decides to keep playing. I've heard that
Shaq Thompson. Yeah.
I've heard that Mosley's neck injury is pretty serious. So
Kendricks. Is Kendricks
That's a good one, too.
gone? Yeah.
Why has he not been signed?
surely one of those guys
They're hanging.
will sign with the Raiders.
Waiting for that training camp.
I'm surprised the Rams haven't been calling after one of these guys either.
Because it looks like your Rams are pretty bad as far as linebacker goes. But
They are, but
Raiders have the worst room, I think, in the league.
Cardinals are up there as well.
Yeah.
We'll talk about, we had Akeem Davis-Gaither on our
Matt
initial
Collins
list.
raps so well.
Yes, that is true. Shout out Mac for the rap. But they're not doing it for me. The Browns, now that we know JOK is done for the season, maybe for his career. Shout out JOK, get better soon. But like that room could use an upgrade. Maybe there's a shakeup here that's yet to come. But I mean, as we sit here right now on May 14th, scheduled release day, it is Devin White and Elandon Roberts season.
Y'all need to speak nicer about Landman.
Nate Landman?
Y'all are being mean. Landman's gonna be fine.
Landman?
He probably will have all the opportunity in the
We're
world.
cueing you, Josh.
I don't know where it is on the board,
Gosh,
guys, and
dang
I'm
it.
not going to guess. Let's go to one of
Go back to Mexico.
one of my favorite linebacker breakout candidates for this season, Scott. You brought him up. He's a guy from your own team, and we're going to talk about second-year linebacker Payton Wilson. Why do you have him as a winner post-draft?
Well, Landon Roberts is gone. I know Cole Holcomb is still there, but Wilson should be the starter. The dude racked up 49 solos, 29 assists, and 520 snaps. That's 65th among linebackers. He was 8th in coverage grade, so he should be on the field in coverage a lot. He's already a better coverage guy than Patrick Queen. And they got the guys to clean up the trash in front of him. They went and got Derek Harmon. They got Black. They got Sawyer, right? So added a little bit of beef to this line to clear some space. And Payton Wilson can make some plays. The big thing with him at NC State was just staying on the field. He stayed healthy last year. So, should have an expanded role. He's one Patrick Queen injury away from being one of the more productive linebackers in the league. So I'm excited about Payton Wilson getting way more snaps this season.
Yeah, I'll have to pull it up, Addy. I have an unhealthy amount of exposure to Payton Wilson in D-Up just because he
on a list for that.
Yes, I think so. I think it's been reported to the FBI at this point. But one Patrick Queen injury away. I would also say one Patrick Queen benching away from taking over. He's bad.
I mean,
I'm kind of surprised they didn't cut him. Honestly, that was kind of my expectation this offseason.
Yeah, well, and it'd also be a lot easier for them to bench him if this team's going to be bad, which, I mean, by the looks of things, they're going to be. Mason Rudolph is the starting quarterback right now.
Yeah, Scott, what are your guys going to do at quarterback? I mean, what are you hoping for at this point? Quick sidebar.
Arch Manning, but,
my Colts call dibs.
Right. Realistically, when they go 9-8 and lose by 30 in the first round of the playoffs to the Chiefs or Bills or Ravens, that's not going to be the case. So Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with the team. I still feel like I hope he does. And I would rather let's give Will Howard a year, just see if it works. I don't care. He's better than big face Mace already. I am so sick of Mason Rudolph. I can't believe he's back. But yeah, man, I just think that I think that Patrick Queen was awful last year. Like he was he was in the wrong spot so many times. Maybe he's going to get better this year. I hope that that's the case. They paid him a lot of money, but if he doesn't, Payton Wilson could get there, in a benching like you guys say, or, one rolled ankle and Payton Wilson is there. Like I said, my only worry is dude missed a bunch of time at North Carolina State. So as long as he can stay on the field, he's going to be a big time producer.
Yeah. No linebackers taken of note in the draft. And
Lee Harrison signed to play special teams,
Yeah, exactly. So, I think this is wheels up for Payton Wilson.
I think so, man. 14.2% tackle rate last season. That's elite. And then PFF grades are really good. 75.3 overall PFF grade, 76.9 coverage grade for a rookie. I know he was a rookie that was old as hell. So that's
but
still, we love to see it. I mean, we
don't cover that well at linebacker.
It's a hard position. There's not a lot of guys that do that. And so, the way this dude racks up stats, like if he does end up getting like 100%, or like a 90% snap share, oh my God, he'll be huge. He'll be averaging 13, 14 points per game.
Right. It's in that Ivan Pace Jr. bucket for me of like guys who are a little bit buried right now that have like top 12 upside if they get the opportunity. And Scott, there was a lot of like subtweeting from Steelers players last year about players on their own team being out of position on defense, freelancing a little bit, costing the team some games. Were those shots directed at Minka, Patrick Queen? Was anyone ever able to suss out who was the target of these subtweets?
I think it's a little bit of everybody, but it had to be Queen. Like, I watch every snap of every game and Queen was in the wrong spot a lot of times. Minka was too. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was, calls out about both of them, but yeah, I think it almost has to be Patrick Queen.
Yeah, that would make sense. Well, let's move to a loser, and let's go, Addy, to the Meadowlands. The New York Giants, I think, had a good draft. I think you can quibble about Dart, should they have moved up. When you've got Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, that's not an answer. So you might as well take a dice roll.
I would love that, by the way.
Right. You would have loved to have Jackson Dart for your Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'd love to have Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston as well. Like, I didn't hate Russell. But
I'll always sign. I wanted the Colts to bring in Jameis Winston as Anthony Richardson's competition. That just would have been so much fun.
Guys could be more opposite.
Right, exactly. That was the goal, was like, let's just have fun. But they, you could have, we kind of debated, they were in a tough spot at 3 overall, where it's just like, you don't need an edge rusher, but you're not going to pass on this guy. So they go Abdul Carter, and the GM, Joe Shane, comes out and says, we're going to pick up Kayvon's 5th-year option. We really like this guy. But there's no denying that as we sit here, Kayvon Thibodeaux's fantasy value has taken a little bit of a hit, and we have to wonder, where is this guy going to be 2026 and beyond?
Yeah, I think, to where he's going to be, I mean, hopefully he gets a new team, right? Just because the situation he's in now, it's just too many cooks in the kitchen, and when you look around at other edge rushers and the rooms, that these teams have, there's just not a lot of guys, or especially that third edge rusher that gets a ton of snaps, right? Like the best example I saw was the Colts. They had their third edge rusher had 600 snaps, but again, like Dio Odengbo had like 780 something.
Right.
And then Kwity Paye was also like in the 600 range. So they didn't have a guy like a Brian Burns or a Abdul Carter, right, who should, dominate and get like 800, 900, snaps. So that's really all this is with Kayvon. Like, I still believe in Kayvon. I still think Kayvon's good. Like, if you look at how he started his career, it's not been that bad. 10.9 points per game last year. That was edge 27. 12.7 in 2023. That was edge 21. 11.5 in 2022. That was edge 26. Also, the PFF stuff has been a little bit better. 10.6% pressure rate last season. League average is 9.4. So you like to see that. In 2023, it was 8.2%. In 2022, it was 9.7%. Also, most importantly, he turns 25 in December. Like, this dude is still super, super young. It just feels like short term, the opportunity is going to be very up and down. Like, we saw him play 75% of the snaps last season. I would be shocked if we saw that this season, not because he's not capable of or shouldn't. It's just because this is the most loaded edge rushing room in the league. And so, snaps are king. And, unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to just wait a little bit, or, hope for an injury, not hope for it, but, if you're rostering Kayvon.
Yes. And a non-serious injury, like a serious pulled
hamstring or something.
There you go. Something not life-threatening.
But he's probably going to see his snaps tick down. And, maybe they run more 3 edge rusher sets,
Carter played middle linebacker a lot in college, so they could do a little bit of that,
drop him back into coverage a little bit,
then bring him in, stuff like that. Do you guys think he's going to handle it well when he doesn't get snaps? No. I guess that's my big thing on Tibbs here.
I don't think so.
Yeah, me neither.
And two, we saw this last year, Scott, with the Colts and Vikings selecting the first 2 edge rushers off the board. And we didn't see those guys a whole lot. We saw Latu a little more than Dallas Turner, but neither really made an impact for IDP managers. And so I have to question, are we headed towards that similar situation here? And if we are, is it Abdul Carter, the number 3 overall pick, not a middle of the first round pick like Latu and Dallas Turner were? Is he the one who's the odd man out getting the leftover snaps, or is it Kayvon Thibodeaux whose workload gets cut into? Because I think there's an argument to be made that he's already the 2nd best edge rusher on this team ahead of Kayvon.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think Tibbs is good. I agree with every point y'all are making here, but Abdul Carter is different. He was out there with one arm making it happen in the playoff last year. He was incredible. So I think he is. I don't think he's like those other guys. I do think he's a top level talent already in the league. So I think if you don't see Abdul Carter get snaps, it's because the shoulder is worse than we thought, or re-injured or something like that. I don't think it would be performance. You never know. I mean, there's been stranger things have happened. Bigger busts have happened. I just don't see it for Abdul Carter.
Are we buying Kayvon? Can you get Kayvon for a 4th?
Yeah.
Are you paying a 3rd for Kayvon?
Third's a little rich.
In
but
IDP drafts where people were just taking, Mike Greens and James Pierce's and stuff in the 3rd, I give you a 3rd for Kayvon. Absolutely.
Yeah, but start with a 4th.
What if Jarquez Hunter's there?
Absolutely not.
Let's get to the heart of the matter here.
Kayvon also only 24 years old, 24.4 years old.
Yeah, let's
Really
settle
young.
down, folks.
Yeah, let's give it some time.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like you wonder if the Giants had conversations of like, we love Kayvon, we love Brian Burns. Should we move back, or was it just like, no, we're just, this dude's better than
Best
I think they
player.
tried.
both the guys. Yeah,
Yep, agreed, Scott.
that we've got on the roster.
Yeah, they
here.
were in the worst spot in the
Yeah.
draft.
There was all that pre-draft stuff about like, y'all don't make us take, wasn't it Shador?
Yeah.
It's like, don't make us do this. Like we like basically saying somebody please
God,
come trade up
up.
for this. I think it was just best player available.
Now,
Yeah, I think so too. And it's also one of those things where, hey, let's do this and see if it either, pushes Tibbs out or lights a fire under him and makes him productive. I think that's a big part of it as well.
Two things also, the stress reaction. Maybe it flares up some, and maybe Tibbs gets more playing time this year. But then the other thing that's interesting too is that they still have the 5th-year option on Tibbs in 2026. So, I mean,
he'll be under contract.
if Carter plays well and Tibbs is somebody that they don't want to pay, there is potentially that kind of like Jameson Williams option to where it's like, we'll 5th year you and then shop you and see if somebody else will come by you.
You're probably not getting what you got for Brian Burns,
sure.
which I think was a 2nd-round pick.
Pretty good defense here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Javon Holland, I think he's going under the radar. That was a great pickup by them. And then
Dexy.
year 2 of Newbin.
right.
That's
Sexy
Lawrence,
Dexy.
best nose tackle in the league.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So hopefully he's back healthy. and
Isaiah
feeling
Simmons
good.
gone. So that's
Yeah,
a
that's a
major
big
hole.
hit.
That's a big loss. Yeah, I don't know how they replaced that Swiss Army knife that stayed in the drawer the whole season.
Mike McFadden, Bobby Okereke, one of my favorite stacks in best ball.
Look at you. I was going to ask how you're feeling about Bobbio this year.
I mean, fine. I think
Feels
he's
like a
gonna be-
nice bounce back.
I tried to buy him today in XFFL.
If there's a 2025 Zaire Franklin, I think it's Bobby Okereke.
Yeah. I mean, he's going like, linebacker, 20, 30 range now
Yeah.
in that area.
That's interesting.
So, I mean, I'm fine there. I feel like you can get him I've gotten him in some of those D-up drafts, in the 5th and 6th.
Yes,
so.
he's often there, potentially going undrafted. So yeah,
But there's definitely a little bit of where he could totally get benched and,
right. This
be
team
cut.
could be bad.
Is he in the last year of his deal there, or has he still got another year?
He might have another year. We'll look at that. But let's go to another winner here, Scott. And you mentioned nose tackles. Let's talk another nose tackle that we're hoping is back healthy. We're hoping he's feeling good. Bobo, you're going to talk to us about Derrick Brown, Carolina Panthers winner. What made you want to give a shout out here to Derrick Brown?
Just kind of doing a little thinking.
Doing a little thinking on the mower?
Yeah. Yeah.
Love
Derrick
it.
Brown crossed my mind while I was mowing the yard the other day.
I would love to see your brain when you're on that mower.
I was doing the whole stat check, not on the mower. That'd be kind of crazy.
One-handed, driving with his knees.
So he basically played not even a full game last year and then got hurt. But I went back and did kind of a deep dive on Derrick Brown. Went to University of Auburn, sophomore year, really productive, 56 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 9 TFLs. Junior year, this pretty much the same, 4.5 sacks, 11 TFLs. Then his senior year, 55 tackles, 4 sacks, 13 TFLs, as well as 4 PDs. Adam always likes me to throw those PDs in there, so there's a little Adam shout out.
Gotta love those big boys jumping up.
2021 in the NFL was fine. 41 tackles, 3 sacks, 7.5 points per game. I mean, it's not awesome for a defensive tackle, but it's not terrible. 2022, 67 tackles, 1 sack, 8.4 points per game. Then enter 2023, where he turns up and goes to 103 tackles, still only 2 sacks, but did crest the double-digit points per game, scoring to 11.8. The PFF grades have always been there, honestly, for Derrick. 2020, 61 overall grade to 64 to an 84 to a 90.1. Quick little random stat, 90.1 overall PFF defensive grade at the end of 2023, right behind Chris Jones and Jalen Carter, and right ahead of those guys, and then right behind Sexy Dexy we talked about, Aaron Donald and Big Q.
Wow.
So
elite company.
Kind of some things that I'm thinking about. 2021, he did play with Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick in 21 still had a little juice to him. Brian Burns was pretty good in 21, and then old Yeats.
Yetur Gross-Matos.
Yetur Gross-Matos, for those
What
of
a
you
throwback.
who don't know who Yeats is. 2022, just Burns and Yeats. And then in 2023, Burns, Frankie Louvu. You got to kind of throw Frankie Louvu in there just because of the pass rush upside, and then old Yeats as well. But, aside from Burns, nothing crazy. No real interior help. There's never really been like two great defensive ends there to help him along. So enter 2025. He's going to play alongside DJ Wanham. DJ Wanham has 27 career sacks. Isn't that crazy?
Wiki DJ Wanham.
On, dude.
Wanham kind of the guy you were talking a minute ago about, the third guy with the highest number of percentage snaps. Wanham kind of fits the bill there. He's always been like a really
types.
a Lamar Odom.
Yeah.
6-man award. And I'm sure I'm saying this guy's name wrong here, but Nick Scorton.
Yeah, Scorton. Is that right, Scott?
Yeah,
Scorton. Okay. 17 college sacks, and then Princely
Umani Ellen.
Thank you.
Umani Ellen.
Umani
Look,
Ellen.
see, my boy CK had to teach me how to say this one like 8 times.
I love that.
screwed it up a million times. Umani Ellen.
25 and a half college sacks. So Josie Jewell, Trevin Wallace, good secondary behind him. Nice little rookie stash, maybe in Lathan Ransom, another safety that I like. So basically my whole case is they've added some help there on the defensive line for him. I think the linebackers behind him are a mature Josie Jewell. You've got a ascending Trevin Wallace. And also, too, you've got a team that's been abysmal offensively. They've been the 31st ranked offense, overall offensive grade for the last 4, 5, 6 years, for a long time.
Mega butt.
I think that things are slowly starting to kind of come together there in Carolina. If they can maybe get ahead in games a little bit. I think Derrick Brown, I don't know exactly where his ADP is right now.
Let's take a
I
gander.
think he was a winner from the draft because he's going to finally get some help. I think the offense is going to get a little bit better. And I think the best of Derrick Brown is honestly yet to come. We've seen him so far as just a really gross name, a guy that just gets tackles. But what happens when all of a sudden we look up and he's got 6, 7, 8 sacks in a season? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility for this guy.
He is going as DL 56, D tackle 15.
Wow.
That's delicious value right there.
That's very nice.
That's too low among DTs for Derrick Brown,
Right.
for sure. Especially since, I mean, he could be pushed outside a little bit more as well because Wharton and Bobby Brown were signed this year as well. So they still have O'Shawn Robinson. They got Shai Tuttle back, right? So like I think this is a great call out, Bobby. Derrick Brown is a huge winner because of everything they added from him. And I think it was a meniscus tear, right? It wasn't like a whole blown knee.
Correct.
So I think he can come back, and be 100% week 1. So I love this call out.
You think we're just like, you think the ADP is where it is because of the sacks? The sacks have never been there, so everybody just sees him as a high tackle.
I think people just forgot about
him a little bit in the injury stuff. I don't know.
And it's the Panthers. The Panthers were the worst defense in the league last year.
They gave up the most rushing yards in NFL history in a single season last year.
So about as bad as you could possibly be. I think this is one of those where it's like the team is better, the defensive front is better, the offense is better. And so as long as Derrick Brown is healthy, I don't think we're getting 103 tackles again. But
there's not a lot of defensive tackles that can get 100 tackles.
Right.
Yeah.
How many have done that in their career? Not many.
Not a lot.
How many did he have in 23?
103.
How many sacks? I'm sorry.
2 sacks.
2 sacks.
2 sacks. All right. He played more over tackle than ever that year. 481 snaps. Before that, he was 110, 141, 89. So this season, adding all that beef, he might play a little bit more outside and refine his game, get to the quarterback a little bit more.
Interesting.
Yeah. Love to see it. I mean, I'm a fan. And yeah, like you said, defensive tackle wise, I mean, there is some nice defensive tackle talent right now for IDP leagues, but I mean, Derrick Brown should not be down that low.
I
Not
guess
that stable.
a guy scoring in the 90s, overall PFF grade that you could get for probably a 5th, a 4th.
Could be that's how, Dexter Lawrence was kind of slept on the first few years of his career. And then now that he's very well known in IDP.
Right.
Could be the same type situation.
114.3 overall for us. That's like a 10th round pick for Derrick Brown.
And even if he doesn't get the sacks, like even if those numbers don't come up, like as long as he's getting 90, 80 to 90 tackles.
Really
like, who
high
cares?
floor.
Right.
Yeah, who
That's
cares?
beautiful. That's a nice floor.
For a nose
27.
tackle, that's crazy.
27 years old.
Yep, I love it. I think it's one of those where we're not projecting anything crazy, and we're not. I have a little bit of hesitancy with injury guys, but like we said, meniscus is not the same as a popped Achilles or
Big
a torn
boy.
ACL. Yeah,
Grown man. He's going to be all right.
He's gonna be all right. SirVocea Dennis gonna be all right as well. Scott, you have him down as a winner at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker. One of the coolest names in the NFL.
Pass the SirVocea.
Past the SirVocea. That's got to be like 1,000 team names out there on MFL, right?
It will be. It will be.
Got to be. After this episode, we're
Yeah.
gonna make it happen. Send us your screenshots.
After
Past
this
the
one gets
SirVocea.
50,000 views.
That's right. But Scott, why did you want to call out SirVocea Dennis here specifically as a winner post draft?
Basically to apologize to him, because every mock draft I did, I said, it's obvious they're going to take Jahad Campbell. They have SirVocea Dennis starting on this team. And they didn't do anything at linebacker, and they didn't do anything because they want a path to playing time for him. Levante David's 100. I just assumed they were going to take somebody, but apparently he's a guy they're looking to take the next step here. I did read an article in the Pewter Report. Josh Quepo, he had an article about him and Braswell being two guys that the Bucs just want on the field more. And he did. I mean, I'm not going to, quote all of his numbers. You should go check out the Pewter Report, but he basically showed how the middle of the field was covered way better in the 3 games that Dennis was healthy at the beginning of the season. And then after the season, the middle of the defense kind of got schooled. So he's a guy they want to step up. And, the backups here are Anthony Walker and Deion Jones. I just think with those guys being the backup, it should not be hard to acquire playing time as long as he's healthy. He went out during week 4 last season, didn't play again. It was a shoulder injury. Assuming that he's back and they didn't draft anyone or sign anyone. Again, this is a situation where you see them go pick up Eric Kendricks and it blows up all the SirVocea Dennis into the water, but if they don't go make a move, this is going to be the guy next to Levante David, who, as we said, is almost my age, which is not good in the NFL. So, Levante David is still an amazing linebacker for sure, and still the main guy out there. But I just think SirVocea Dennis, like I said, basically apologize. I thought Jahad Campbell was going to be the guy here the entire draft season, and then they don't make that move. They took Egbuka, which I think was surprising to everybody. But, didn't fill this spot later either, which was still surprising. Like, could have taken Demetrius Knight or Chris Paul or one of those guys a little bit later. They didn't make a move. Obviously, they like this guy.
Yeah, and be kinder to yourself, Scott. You're aging like a room temperature Coors Light, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the one everybody wants to drink because there's no more in the fridge.
That's right.
That's right.
It's a bullpen game tonight.
Mountains are red.
But yeah, mountains are very red. Very, very bad shade of red. SirVocea Dennis was 16 tackles and 1 sack the first 2 games last season.
Yeah.
Started off the year beautifully. I think this team does love SirVocea Dennis. And I think if he had played the whole season, he would have been a top 24, top 30 linebacker for us.
Oh, wow.
You look at the way this guy was starting out.
Yeah. He's good.
It was at the very least a nice LB3-4 option for you. And
no, you already said LB2.
well, look, up now. Worst case scenario, he's a nice LB3 option. But I think he was an ascending player who
You would have benched KJ Britt.
Yeah, the Bucs were in absolute hell having to put KJ Britt out there. And so again, kind of like the Raiders, where it's like Jahad Campbell sitting right there for you, Carson Schlesinger. Take your pick of linebackers, and instead they go with the Chris Godwin insurance, which I think is, again, a surprising move. I think it makes sense. I'm always gonna applaud a team that prioritizes offense, but not prioritizing defense here, Bobo. SirVocea Dennis, winner.
Yeah, linebacker's just not something valuable in the NFL anymore. These teams are just not wanting to place a ton of draft capital in these guys. Thank God this year we got Jahad Campbell, who may end up being an edge. Carson Schlesinger was the tip of tip of the second round. But I mean,
I think that was surprising too. No one had
Oh, yeah.
projected him to go that high.
we were
So,
thankful. We were thankful, and
Just
you know,
took the
IDP.
Browns.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you, Browns. Thank you, Browns.
but it's just you know, I think if you can just show some competency and show that you know you can learn an NFL defense and how to read an offense, you're gonna have a role at some point, regardless of where you were drafted. You're gonna have an opportunity. So I don't like you're saying with Egbuka. I don't hate that they passed on some of these guys because I didn't really love a lot of this rookie linebacker class, but I really do like SirVocea Dennis. And hey, I mean, we just came off a year where Zach Bond was the LB1. So I mean, anything is possible.
Yep.
Coverage
thank you,
grade.
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, drop it.
I got it. Anything is possible. SirVocea Dennis, 74.3 coverage grade, 16th amongst linebackers last year.
He was pretty solid.
Dude is solid in coverage.
Also, he's got like a little bit of that Luvu, Caden Ellis in him, where he's got that pass rush upside, right? Like he can get 100 tackles, but he could also get like 5 to 6 sacks.
Right,
You know,
right. And yeah, Levante David, we keep saying the wheels are going to fall off. I hope it's not this year. He is my highest rostered player in D-Up. So
He might just be a freak of nature. You know,
might be.
He might be one of those guys.
I think I think him, Bobby Wagner, Demario Davis, I think these guys are well attuned to like how they're stacking up and like how much gas they have left in the tank. They don't strike me as the type that would just run themselves out there when they know they don't have it anymore.
right?
But I
And
guess
also they know where to be on the field. They know kind
Right.
of how to conserve the energy. Right?
exactly.
Like,
They're as the athletic gifts has declined, the mental side has become
Right.
sharper.
What is it too? They make business decisions.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Devin
So
White.
Ross, yeah,
Hey,
you
Trenton,
get this
go
one,
get
yeah.
that guy.
Please God. The
Tired.
knees are creaking.
get in there, SirVocea. Pass the SirVocea.
Pass the Savassier. Pass it over here, man. My back's hurting. Need some icy hot. Oh,
But
Lord.
another good reason to like SirVocea. I mean, Levante David, like you mentioned, 100 years old. So
Right.
I mean, he could break down. This could, you know, and when he does, like it's probably the end.
All 4 wheels are going to fall off simultaneously. This car is going to be exploding off
Just
the side
dust.
of the cliff. Yeah, just snapped away, gone. Let's go to the loser side, though, Scott. And you wanted a chance to talk up Donovan Ezaraku, new Cowboys edge rusher. But unfortunately, it comes at the potential downfall of the existing edge rushers there. DeMarcus Lawrence gone, but Marshawn, Kneeland, and Sam Williams still there. Ezaraku's second-round pick, though, kind of feels like it might be spelling the end for these guys, Scott.
Yeah, I think so. And they both have been hurt. They went out and got Dante Fowler back as well. So they're just making plans beyond those guys. So I do think, signing a guy like Fowler and bringing in Ezaraku kind of spells the end for them. But this is really just a talk up Ezaraku. 13 of 210 graded edge rushers in run defense last year on PFF. Only Mike Green had more stops on run plays than him as an edge rusher last year. 10th in pass rush grade among all those 210 edge rushers last season. 11th in pass rush win percentage. 20 QB hits, led all edge rushers in college last year. 14 sacks, tied for third. 41 solos, tied for 11th. This guy is productive when he's out on the field. And with that good run defense, something that was sorely lacking in Dallas last season, I think he's going to be on the field early and often. I wouldn't be surprised if midway through the season he pushes Fowler to the bench. So it may not even take that long if he's good from the jump. So he could fall into that bucket like you were talking about, Dallas Turner, Leatu Latu, where we don't see a lot specifically early on because, making the jump to the NFL is huge. So that could be part of it. But I'm just really excited that he ended up in Dallas, a place where they needed an edge rusher, and he was a super productive guy in college.
Yeah, this was one of those situations where it's like, please get Micah Parsons. Please pay Micah Parsons and then get Micah Parsons some help because they've got bodies there like Fowler, Kneeland, Williams.
Those guys are hurt, though.
I know, and it just feels like these are rotational pieces. Like they really needed that DeMarcus Lawrence replacement, like a guy that you can, in good faith, put out there opposite Micah Parsons. And I'm with Scott. I think this guy is going to play potentially a lot more than we think he might play in Dallas.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's just because of the injury luck and stuff. And that, Dallas felt they had to make this pick because of that stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, Sam Williams, I think his contract's about to expire. And
Bobby Okereke, 1 year left on his deal. I wanted to bring that up. So
he's probably gone.
Well, he'll be there this season and next season.
Oh, okay.
So he's under contract 25 and 26. Yeah.
He probably will get cut.
He probably will. I mean, this team, I'll look at the dead cap, but they probably can get out.
Yeah. But
last year for Sam Williams.
I don't know. The Ezeraku pick also gives you a bit of pause since Dallas has like burned, this is what, like 2 drafts in a row where they've spent a second and a third on these edge rushers that haven't worked out. And also you look at the history of these edge rushers that get drafted in the second, third round. Like there's not a lot of successful examples, but I think this could be one of those, those guys that bucks that trend just because I think opportunity wise, he's going to get a lot of snaps.
Right. They kind of need him.
And he was like an older prospect. Like he should be more ready to go.
This defense is, I think they'll get Micah Parsons paid. I don't think we're headed toward a Trey Hendrickson not going to play under my current contract situation.
Oh man, I love that. I love it so much.
It's, I'm curious how that one's going to shake out. That one feels like it's maybe headed for a divorce. The Micah Parsons one does not feel like that. But outside of Micah Parsons, I mean, where's the juice on this defense? I love Jack Sanborn as an IDP sleeper, but you've got Jack Sanborn and Kenneth Murray as your linebackers.
Very bad defense.
We'll see if
Overshown might be a shell of himself.
I think that's maybe a career ender
kind of thing.
And then you have Trayvon Diggs may not play. His injury was serious. So
he was kind of
I think he was trending down before that even. So yeah, man, this team is maybe one CD injury away from 5 or 6 wins, and it's like, hell, let's just roll Ezeraku out there
George
and
Pickens
see what we got. Yeah,
they had no running.
George Pickens was pulled an AB by week 6 and taken off his jersey and left the field.
Oh my God! No one will ever trade with the Steelers again if that happens.
Yeah,
not for a wideout.
But let's move on here to our last 2 players, and Addy, we are going to your beloved Minnesota Vikings to talk about a guy that you have brought up several times this offseason. I've kind of put a star next to his name in drafts that I'm headed into. I'm taking him 2 rounds ahead of you. First round, just to make sure I get him. Theo Jackson, Minnesota Vikings. Winner for you post-draft. Why?
Well, we have 2 years of evidence that Flores loves running 3 safety sets, right? Josh Metellus, 87% of the snaps in 2024, 94% in 2023. Cameron Bynum, 91% of the snaps in 2024, 99% in 2023. Harrison Smith, 94% in 2024, 98% in 2023. So all 3 of those guys got plenty of snaps. Offseason moves that the Vikings have made. Bynum to your Coats.
Coats.
Hate to see him go, but
love to watch him leave.
Sure. I'm not paying that dude, what, 60 mil?
Something like that. No, Ballard was like, I'm done sitting on my hands. And then he just gave out some outrageous deals.
Get you a safety.
God bless.
Minnesota re-signed Theo Jackson to a 3-year, $9.3 million deal. We also did not take a defensive back in the draft. Everyone was mocking Malachi Starks, Nick Amanawore, to this team in round 1. None of that happened. They also didn't draft any other safeties. They picked up some UDFAs, but still no draft capital spent on safeties.
And they spent a lot of their free agent dollars bringing in some beef in the trenches between Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, Jonathan Allen, Hargrave. So it's like, I don't think they had the money to address losing Cam Bynum.
Right.
I think this would Theo Jackson is the replacement.
I think
for what we're losing with Cam Bynum.
I think so. And I know it's just limited sample size with this guy, 222 total snaps in the NFL, but it has been good. 79.2 overall PFF grade in 24, 67.6 in 2023, 85.0 in 2022, 11.2% career tackle rate. That was better than all 3 of the other safeties. Metellus had 10.4%. Bynum was 9.1, 8.8% for Smith. Again, I know small sample size. Shut up about it. All right, we get it.
Stop commenting on YouTube about it.
2.0 average depth of tackle. So that's 2 yards average depth of tackle in 2024. That was second among safeties.
I was going to say, it was basically like he was just meeting them in the hole pretty much. 10%
tackle rate in college. Also, if you look at this guy's usage, Very, very good. Out of his 222 snaps, 35 have been on the defensive line, 54 in the box, 56 at free safety, 65 in the slot, 11% or 11 snaps at corner. So just doing the math.
Description kind of says that he is the guy because they use the two traditional and then they move one around, right? That's basically what it is.
That's what I think, man. I mean, looking at doing the math in my head, that's like 70% at least snaps in the sweet spot. So we love to see it. Don't check me on that one, but I'm pretty sure it's around that.
The math says he's playing 120% in the sweet spot. Sweet also ADP, DB 82, safety 55 right now.
He's free. That's the best part of Theo Jackson.
Right.
He is free. I've picked him up in literally every single dynasty league I'm in, and you should do the same.
Yes, Scott. Just, again, not going to cost you much besides maybe the cost of a mouse click. And the track record is there for Brian Flores. The opportunity is there for Theo Jackson. What's not to like?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you wouldn't like is there anyone that they might sign? Is there a free agent out there that they might? How
much money do they have left?
Like Justin Simmons, maybe someone like that.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not a lot left. Simmons, I'm looking at over the cap. Jordan Whitehead, Julian Blackman, KZ. I mean, it's not great.
It feels like at this point
they have $16.3 million in cap space.
So they can afford somebody.
They could go get someone if they wanted someone.
Blackman would kind of be okay, and that would kind of leave Jackson.
But it's the same thing. He's free, right?
Right.
He's absolutely free. And then, but it's the same thing for SirVocea Dennis. If they go and sign someone, he's probably on the out or at least in a competition. So, I think they had 3 safeties over 700 snaps last year, right?
Right.
Theo Jackson's the guy. I think he is the reason they didn't take someone is what it sounds like the way we're describing him here.
And that guys, they didn't have to double dip at defensive tackle either. They could have kept Cam Bynum in the building. And they probably did the math and were like, let's get better along the defensive front. We've got 3 great edge rushers, and we're losing Pat Jones, but we've got Dallas Turner, Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard. Let's add some beef with these 2 massive dudes in the middle.
Boy, this defense is going to be fun.
This defense is going to be awesome.
Sweet.
So good. And I don't know, Scott, tell me what you think about this. I think they may be saving a little bit of that money if they need to go get a free agent quarterback, if maybe JJ McCarthy come August is like, they're just not feeling great about where he's at.
Keep that room for Kirk Cousins. Is that what we're saying? Yeah.
Could be.
Or Rodgers.
Or Rodgers. Yeah. Depending on how the Steelers situation shakes out. So, I don't see them signing anyone. Them bringing back Theo Jackson and letting Cam Bynum walk kind of tells me where their head is at with this whole situation. So where is Germaine Pratt's head at, Scott? That's where we're going to close the show on here. A loser post-draft for the Cincinnati Bengals. Trey Hendrickson, dynasty managers, if you want to lump them in here as well, because who knows where Trey is going to be. I think a little bit insulated from an ADP fall, because I think wherever he ends up, he's going to be fine. Because
Would you pay Trey if you're the Bengals?
Yeah, absolutely. You're in a window.
It's the only good defensive player they have.
That's the thing. Just pay good players.
But he's going to cost a lot.
Yeah, and he should get every penny.
Edge rushers cost a lot.
Yeah, it's just the market, and he's been nothing but awesome for you. And now you may have to eat it, but you're clearly pushing all the chips in, paying Joe Burrow, paying T. Higgins, paying Jamar Chase. Like
all the money can't go to the offense.
Right. You have to have some kind of defense to have a shot.
But all the money can't go to like 5 players either, though,
It is tough.
If you draft well, it can mainly go to 5
They don't
players.
do that.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. And their draft pick in the first round, it's like, is this guy Trey Hendrickson insurance? Is this guy Miles Murphy insurance? Is this guy a little bit of both?
Oh, man, I love it. Like an Aggie going to the Bengals, who I already hate, and I hate the Aggies. That's like a perfect landing spot.
Double hate. It doesn't cancel out. It actually multiplies.
It's
exponential hate.
Absolutely. Exponential hate. And Trey Hendrickson causing all these problems. Love that as well. Let's keep it going, Bengals. Keep being cheap. Now, look, TJ Watt hasn't got paid either, but he's not holding out. He's not causing a problem.
Yeah. He's not holding camp.
Yeah, and if he did, I wouldn't blame him, by the way. He deserves it. So does Trey Hendrickson. Just pay these guys.
Yeah, pay these guys. Stop messing around, Bengals. Stop being tightwads.
I'd be scared. I'd be scared to do it.
Hey, scared money don't make money. Didn't you come up with that?
That is my trademark.
It's an Addy original, TM at the end. But Germaine Pratt, Scott, it's been a wild ride with Germaine Pratt these last 9 months. His best year statistically, 2024, 143 tackles, 223 points, LB14 finish. Then on February 12th, seemingly out of the blue, he requests a trade, which, as we've seen with the way they've handled Trey Hendrickson's extension, not surprising. I think Germaine Pratt wanted a big payday after 2024. He saw the writing on the wall with how things were going with Trey Hendrickson and was like, get me the hell out of here. Cincinnati said, okay, bet, and took not one, but two linebackers in the top 120 picks, Demetrius Knight Jr., Barrett Carter. This, I think, all but seals Pratt's fate with the Bengals. I think he could get dealt sometime this offseason. You've seen the Colts rumored a lot because you got Jalen Carleys.
How about the Raiders?
Right. The Raiders could use some help. What would it cost them? A 4th round, 3rd round pick?
Rams.
They're just going to waste it anyway.
Right. They're just going to, who knows, take some player that we're never going to hear of 3 years from now.
Tommy Eichenberg.
There you go. But this, I think, could happen this offseason. I think he could get dealt. But even if he plays out his contract and hits free agency in 2026, I think his services not going to be like as in demand as maybe what he had hoped. In 2022, career year, according to PFF, 80.6 overall defensive grade. Every other season, he's been in the 40s, 50s, or 60s overall defensive grade. I think he's overplayed his hand a little bit here, Scott. Now his future is murky. I think this hurts his IDP stock, and the market has reacted appropriately to the LB14. He is LB35 by our ADP, LB36 in D-Up. How do you think this thing shakes out with Germaine Pratt for 2025?
I mean, if we're betting on it, I think I'd have to put him 3rd in terms of snaps, right? Like, I just think that they brought in Knight to play him, and maybe not immediately. You know, maybe it is Pratt initially, and if they don't trade him in the offseason, maybe it's we can trade him mid-season because we have these two guys. Or maybe it's let's see if these two guys are good in camp, and then we'll make a move, something like that. So I think he's definitely one of the biggest losers of the draft, and holding out after one good season is just nuts. Or requesting a trade, I guess it is. That's just crazy to me. Like, you've done nothing. You have one good year, and now you want to be dealt. You're not in demand. We don't have our phone ringing off the hook for Germaine Pratt. What are you doing? I think that was insane, honestly. So, and they drafted two guys at his position. I mean, Carter can kind of do, he can play a little edge too, which they need more than they need linebackers. But yeah, man, I don't like that move, and I think the ADP is appropriate. I think he should be down in the 30s because we just don't know what it's going to look like. I'll be much happier if he gets traded to somewhere else before the season starts, but that's difficult to make happen at this point.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where the Bengals, like you said, Scott, may get into camp and be like, all right, we feel good. These teams have had some linebacker injuries. Our phone's ringing. Let's deal this guy for a 3rd or 4th round pick in 2026. This was also like
7th.
Yeah, it could be because you got to pay this guy.
He's a lot of money. His cap hits a lot too.
That's right. He did get.
He got extended. He has a bit of Devondre Campbell in him, where I think he's out of touch a little bit with reality. I remember that. I think it was the last time the Bengals were in the playoffs and they got beat. I remember him like running his mouth to the locker room, like just like calling out teammates like it was their fault, saying like he was upset, saying this is my last year here, which it wasn't. They ended up re-signing him for some reason.
Whoops.
but yeah, it wasn't a good look for, after a loss like that in the playoffs. It's like, Pratt, like, bro, they're not here because of you, dude. Right. Like, what are we doing?
Why are you grabbing the microphone right now?
But another loser for the Bengals, a twofer here, folks. Oren Burks.
Yeah.
I'm quite sad about Oren Burks. I thought Oren Burks was going to be a Super Bowl winning Oren Burks. Stud in
Super
the playoffs.
Bowl champion. Yes, he was. Very good.
PFF grades were in the 80s all through the postseason. So
you were counting on the Germaine Pratt trade.
Right.
And Oren Burks just slot in there.
And them not drafting two linebackers.
But the Bengals had the ultimate, I think this is the ultimate spite draft. It's like, oh, Trey, you're holding out. You want a deal? Shamar Stewart. Oh, Germaine Pratt. You want to be traded? Demetrius Knight Jr. Oh,
so true.
Barrett
Say
Carter.
something, Joe.
Yeah.
Say something.
Say something else, Germaine. Yeah, exactly. Right.
The running back.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Now we know why those drafts aren't working.
That's
This
right.
team sucks,
This team is just drafting on pure spite and emotion. It's not working out too well.
They got Joe and they got Jamar and T, and that's it.
Yep.
But they got Joe and Jamar because they were terrible forever and were
That's
drafting high, you know?
That's right. Look, I think the Bengals, I like what they
Score
did.
60 a game.
I just like,
Gonna
yes,
have
that
to.
they've got to bring Trey back. It's like, even if it screws you like 2 or 3 years down the road, you just got to go for it. The
This
cap's,
defense is bad either way.
cap's
right?
going up anyways. Like, you can hide a lot of these deals.
That's
You
my
know.
thing. Is Trey elevating this bad defense?
Yeah, really.
100 million something worth.
What did we see last year?
Yeah.
This was
When
one
you
of the
put
worst defenses in the
Anything
league.
around him, he would be great. You know, like put Trey Hendrickson in Carolina.
Yeah.
How good is
can
that
you
D?
imagine?
No, I've already laid the case for that. They're fine.
That only
in
makes
Carolina.
the Derrick Brown
No,
case
no,
even
no,
stronger,
no.
Bobby. That would be great.
Don't ruin my Nick
We'd have to
Scorton
redo
for
this
me.
episode and have him at the very top.
Gordon went to A&M too. Let's get him over there. Let's get him to
Let's make it happen. Let's make it
We
happen.
need to clip Scott saying Princely's name so we can have
Right
it for the
there.
boards.
We'll
when
just
I'm
drop
saying
it.
Yes.
Just drop it in.
Yes.
Because we're not going to be able to do that.
It'll
guys.
be Princely.
Yeah.
Hit the button.
Hit the button. We'll clip it to. I'll shorten the gap in the post production, so you don't even tell. It's like, is
You
that
better make
Josh's
sure that's
voice?
right too. I might still be saying it wrong.
He might be throwing some twang
We got to
in
keep
there.
moving our mouth.
I mean, we're 50-50. Yeah.
We'll lip sync it. That'll be fine. Well, Scott, this was a lot of fun, man. Really appreciate you coming on, talking winners and losers post draft. Love doing this every year. And you're right, we will have you back on with our boy Johnny the Greek. IDP bets. You guys held us down this season, made us a lot of money. I'm rich. We've this chat
Fired.
now. Yeah, it's,
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, a lot of
You got it,
improvements. Courtesy of Scott, Johnny, and the crew over at IDP Bets. So we'll have you back on. And we know you'll be rocking and rolling with your shows, Scott. We mentioned those at the top of the program. But let the folks know what you got coming up. What are you guys going to be diving into? I think you mentioned y'all might be doing something similar to this for Fantasy Pros coming up.
Yeah. We're going to be doing players to avoid in dynasty startup drafts this week coming up. Also, I'll be writing up IDPs in the Black Book that Joe Pisapia puts out every single year. I do that, and I do rookies every year. So look for that coming out soon. And of course, you can catch me on the In This League Fantasy Baseball podcast running right now, running hot right in the middle of the baseball season. Just hit episode number 800 on that this week.
Wow. Congrats,
So,
dude. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Yeah, I can't believe it's 11 years that we've been 11 or 12. I can't even remember
Who's
right
the-
now that we've been
Who's the
doing
101 in fantasy baseball right now?
Shohei
By far, right?
by a lot. Yeah,
Wow,
especially
cool.
he's not even pitching now, but he's going to start pitching again this season. So, yeah, it's Shohei by
That's awesome.
a lot still.
Last
But-
time I played fantasy baseball, I picked Ryan Braun at 101.
Wow.
Oh man,
There you go.
Ryan
Shout out.
Braun. Speaking of POSs, yeah.
Yeah. Not a fan.
Let's
Absolutely.
dive into that. Have us on the
Yeah.
Fantasy Baseball
What year would that have been,
podcast,
Scott?
Scott, so we can talk about that.
2017, when the Diamondbacks played them in the playoffs. I'm in Texas, right?
Uh-huh.
Half my family's A&M fans, half a Longhorns fans. So Longhorns fan. My dad's whole side of the family's from Pittsburgh. Crazy diehard Steelers fans. But I lived in Arizona for 27 years when the Diamondbacks were coming up. So that's why I have these weird spread out allegiances. But the Brewers played the D-backs in the 2017 playoffs, and Ryan Braun in a 5-game series hit 5 homers. And, turns out he was doing horse steroids the whole time. And then, tried to throw the courier under the bus that took his blood when he got popped for steroids. And, ruined this guy's name, drug him through the mud, and then got caught again on the horse steroids.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
That's like
Ryan Braun
dodgeball.
sucks. So,
Yeah,
the
that's true.
low-grade
That's what
beaver
low grade beaver
That's right.
tranquilizer for Ryan Braun. Jeez, bud. Keep it all
goddamn you,
natural.
Bernice.
Keep it all natural, Ryan Braun. Jeez. Well, thank you again, Scott. Make sure you
Appreciate you
check
guys.
out the pods that Scott has coming out. Does awesome work for In This League and for Fantasy Pros. And we love having him on the show and love having him talk IDP. Stay tuned. After the break, we will be talking about our rookie draft haul. You don't want to miss this. So stick around. We'll be right back.
I am proud to announce that Fast Draft now has an all-defense game called D-Up. That's right, fans of IDP finally have a real money best ball game that they can play. No more manually setting up leagues every time you want to do a draft. No. Now you can play for 10 grand, 2,000 to first. Could draft up to 30 teams, all defense. And the best part, balanced scoring, tackles for loss, pass breakups. It all factors in. Just draft 6 defensive players, top 4 into your lineup every week. It's that easy. It's so easy that this isn't just for IDP people. If you love the NFL, then you'll love this game. And for the first time with Fast Draft, you can sweat both sides of the ball on Sunday. So use your host promo code to get a $25 deposit match, and you'll love this D-Up contest because it's about time we got one.
All right, welcome back to the IDP show. We talked winners and losers with Scott Bogman, first half of the episode. Now we're going to talk rookie draft haul. This past weekend, boys, we had our rookie draft for our main league, the XFFL, on the Reality Sports Online platform. This is year number 10 for the XFFL. Started in 2016. So shout out to those guys. Love that league. We all had picks in this draft, so thought it would be kind of fun. We've spent a lot of time talking about rookie draft, these prospects, where these guys are going. We've had 3 mock drafts, we've had a super flex mock draft, but now no more mocking, no more talking. We're drafting. And so we're going to go through our draft hauls, boys. And Adam, let's start with you because you had the 101. Not the worst team, though.
Right.
In fact, the opposite of that.
Sure.
So why don't you take us through? You had the 101. You had some other picks sprinkled in there as well. You made a trade.
I did.
So take us through the draft haul for add him, mark him.
Tell us about the 101. There's a 5-minute clock. We saw 4 minutes, 30 seconds of that.
It took a little longer than I expected. Did you have any debate, any waffling at all?
I had to go to a baby shower.
Okay, so this was just purely a logistical delay.
Yes, I was.
I was also invited to the shower and declined the invite.
I'm aware.
You were.
We missed
not
you.
see you
Hey,
there.
good time. Great time.
Good
It
for
was.
you.
It sounded
Good
like
on
it was
you.
fun.
It really was fun.
Good on you.
Good shot. There was alcohol there. They had mimosas
For the babies?
Should have. That'd have been a lot more fun. Not as fun for the adults though.
Yeah, it was a good time. But yeah, I looked up at the clock at one point during the shower and I was like, oh my God, it's 6:50. I've got to go. So I pulled it up on the phone and was like, I got time to I waited until I got to the house to actually pull the trigger.
You were fine.
I was afraid that I was going to mess something up on the phone, but I just made sure I pulled it up on the phone to make sure I still had time.
Okay,
Right.
okay,
Right.
okay,
If I had to make the pick, I would have done it. All right. Get off my back. All right.
Always on my back.
All right. Shut up about the small sample size. Damn it.
We told y'all stop commenting about it. I'm gonna get a lot of comments about that now on YouTube. Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah.
So you go 101. I think everyone kind of knows where we've got. I will say we have gotten a lot of questions about should I go Travis Hunter or Ashton Genty 101. It's sleeper. I'm loaded at running back. He has wide receiver DB designation, cheat code potential. And I mean, I think by and large, our answer has been it's still Ashton Genty 101.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, it's an easy pick here, in my opinion, Genty.
He is labeled as a wide receiver on the RSO platform. I think that's important to point out.
And that was also like, if he was a cornerback,
That you probably would have thought more about it if he was a CB.
I would just be worried about that designation sticking, which you
would have lost that after year one
with the way we do it in there. But yeah, I mean, I can see the argument, but I still think for the most part, you just take Genty, and you're happy with that. So that's what we did here. 101, Genty, he joins a very solid running back room. Saquon Barkley, James Cook, DeAndre Swift. We'll mention him.
Hey,
flex option.
he is a post-draft winner. He survived until they signed Nick Chubb.
Thank God they didn't draft Genty. That was being mocked a lot. That would have hurt him.
Didn't get a chance to. I thought they might have gone Travion Henderson, Judkins, second round, but did not.
So 101 was easy. The next pick was in the third round.
308.
308.
This is where you traded in.
No, actually, I had...
Sorry, 309. 309 and 310 were your picks.
And I had... I traded 307. I had 307 at one point. One of those picks, 3-something. I had an extra third, and I traded that for Blake Cashman before the draft. And in hindsight, maybe a little bit of regret, because I did have to trade back in to the 309. and I paid a future second, which is going to be probably a high second.
And you also, yes, you got back, you swapped 3rd and 4th round picks.
That's true.
And sent a 2027 4th.
Forgot about that.
Because I was looking at that trade. I was like, when did Cashman go and what did he go for?
It was like 308 and
it was 308 because it was John's pick. You traded with, who had it? Was it Eric?
Aaron. It was Aaron.
Okay, Aaron. Okay.
So I think it was 308.
308. Yep, there he is. 308. He hate me.
308, a future 3rd. And then I got a 4th back in Blake Cashman.
Yep.
That's what it was. So I'm fine with it. I think Blake Cashman's going to eat. Everyone's going to be regretting not having these linebackers. Anyway, so traded a future second for that 309, and I drafted Cam Ward. I was just shocked that he was still there. Should not have been there. But, with Cam Ward, I think everyone's down on Cam Ward. It very reminds me a lot of Jaden Daniels. He just didn't have the hype, kind of same type thing with Cam Ward.
0 primetime games. We're on schedule release day. No primetime games for the Tennessee Titans.
I could get one. Come on.
They'll be flexed in if they're good.
Hey, Rams playing Titans week 2.
Tighten up.
Probably
That's
going
fun.
down.
Connor's texting us right now about what Colts game we're going to. Apparently tickets are very cheap for the Cardinals game. That'd be kind of fun. Wouldn't be bad. They're in Berlin. One of my least favorite European cities. Otherwise,
Mine too.
You won't be going to that one?
well, we're looking at maybe going to one of the London games.
Let's go.
They got a couple at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
They don't got any in Mexico?
Hot tie.
They do actually have one in Mexico.
Well, you should be there.
I should be there. I pretty much live there.
You're
half
local?
the year. Yeah.
Piece of trash.
As we know,
everybody
as we know.
around.
So you go Cam Ward. The least discussed number 1 pick of all time.
Yeah, very excited to have Cam Ward. Just feel like this league, to get an elite quarterback, you got to spend up a lot. I'm just banking that everyone is a little off on their evaluation for Cam Ward. And so, getting him here at 309, that's a layup. And then 310, I get Woody Marks, another guy that lands in a good offense with a surprisingly good capital, right? He was a 4th, early, mid 4th round pick, I think. And then, it's Joe Mixon ahead of him. Who was not the youngest guy, and Woody Marks is a really good pass catcher. Also, does not wear gloves. I love that.
Ooh, okay. Has faith in his hands.
Yes, sir.
Love that.
So, really, once I found out about the no glove thing, I was all in.
That's absurd.
And his name's Woody?
Yeah. Woody Marks. So Woody Marks is your 30 or 310.
310. Yep. And then we had a 4th round pick.
408.
Oh, this is nice. 408. Nick Martin, baby.
Love that.
Very happy to get him here. I think Nick Martin is going to potentially eat. San Fran has a great track record of drafting linebackers. Fred Warner, you ever heard of him? Dre Greenlaw. Aziz Al-Shayer was the 3rd banana there for a little bit. So, this is a team that I trust their evaluation of linebacker. Also, Salah's back, right? So, I feel like he had a hand in this, and he's going to want to see his guy get on the field. Also, there's not a lot of
It's D Winters.
It's D Winters.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick Martin's gonna get on the field, I think. And when he does, if you look at his college production, it was elite, some of the best production in this class. So I was very grateful to have him there at 408.
And just to give some context here, Jahad Campbell, 203, Carson Swessinger, 207. Demetrius Knight Jr., 211. If you want to count Jalen Walker, he's a D end in here. But if maybe he gets switched to linebacker, you count him. He was 208. Granted, that was an auto pick.
And that's how I want to play this class, honestly.
Right.
I'm not really trying to spend up. I like Schlesinger. I think he's going to be rock solid. But you also got to spend a 2nd round pick on him.
Right. Chris Paul went right before your pick at 407.
Schlesinger went over Higgins, Kyle Williams, several offensive little names right there.
Right. Yeah. I've always been a big believer in just waiting and getting the value, right? And Nick Martin, I think, is the value linebacker of this class. And then I had 502.
Yep.
I went a little homer here. I took Taj Felton.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Felton.
Ty Felton.
Whoever you are.
Whoever you are, hon.
I like Ty.
Well, also,
I like Ty as well. and
who's
I feel
going to play that wide receiver opposite JJ when you get the suspension for Addison, probably
true.
2 to 3 games, I would say.
Naylor's fine, but I think he's just got 1 year left.
Yeah.
And so, and then this to speak to the Addison stuff, like, I mean, there's been rumors that they could trade him. Like, it's going to be potentially pretty hard to keep JJ and Addison on the road. It's going to be a Jamar Chase, T Higgins type situation where Addison's going to want over 20 mil a year, you know. He's worth it. I love that dude.
Rookie contract helps if the other JJ's a hit, JJ McCarthy.
Right. So, yeah, just trusting the offense, you know, Minnesota has done a good job of also drafting receivers. So, but yeah, I'm a homer. So
you got to have a homer.
I'm fine. I'm fine to have him there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, didn't have a lot of really sexy picks like Bobby when he gets up here and talks. He
has 11 draft picks.
Tore it up, and you were in just a great position. Like
you were in a lot of good spots.
Man, like 101 to 309, just all the talent that just goes off the board. You know, it is pretty sickening. So I feel like I didn't really have a lot to work with at my picks, but I'm happy with how we turned out.
Yeah. I mean, you got Ashton Genty.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's a win.
Lifts everything else.
Right.
So,
that elevates the room. Bobo, this is going to take a while. So talk us through your draft class here. 11 picks in this draft.
The day that the draft happened, the jersey came in, and
yes, sir.
Adam waited 4.5 minutes to draft Ashton Genty, and I thought,
a little scared?
If homie takes Travis Hunter, Adam's about to get a new jersey.
We're getting that jersey for the wall.
You cost yourself a jersey, Adam.
How about a trade? How about a pod trade?
On the pod.
Come on.
We'll think about it. But no, Travis Hunter.
Jersey swap.
102. Even though he's a wide receiver in here, I mean, you know my love for Travis Hunter. It runs deep now.
Kind of surprising. I thought he would be labeled CB.
Yeah, I did too.
Just based on how RSO typically does not handle designations very well.
Yeah. I will say, I think I talked on the pod a couple weeks ago about all that I gave to basically get Travis Hunter in sleeper. It's pretty sexy to see Travis Hunter down there with your DBs. That's a cool little setup.
Dude, he's already like a top 12 dynasty startup pick.
Yep.
Like, especially on sleeper where he gets the DB designation. Like, I mean,
that's crazy.
He's up there, dude.
Listening to a lot of like offensive focused fantasy football shows kind of recapping the draft. And it's like, all right, you've got Brian Thomas there. Travis Hunter slots in, you know, as a nice wide receiver 2 option. I'm like, everyone's ignoring this outcome where the guy taken second overall, the Heisman Trophy winner, is just way better than Brian Thomas, who is a great wide receiver in his own regard.
Yeah.
I think the most likely outcome is we're sitting here on this date, 2026, saying, all right, obviously Travis Hunter is a top 4 wide receiver in the NFL now. He's already ascended close to that tier of like Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson.
He could leap those guys this year, you know?
The cool thing about Hunter on sleeper is that he will probably stay dual desi.
Yes.
Even if he plays some amount of snaps.
They play fast and loose with those designations over there.
And that's why sleeper's the GOAT, honestly. Like, they're the ones that have actually got this right. The way they've designated him. Like, everyone else, no one knows what they're doing with them.
Right.
Yeah. They're all scared to death. Sleeper, wide receiver DB, that is the coolest thing to happen in fantasy football.
I think the only other one I saw was maybe ESPN, I think, gave him dual. So. And there was maybe one other, Flea Flicker maybe gave him dual. So there was, but most sites, either don't have the capability to give dual designation or just went with straight up wide receiver. Which it's like, what are you basing this off of? You know,
he's still the 102. Doesn't really matter how they designate him, but to push him into that 101, you know,
he has an argument to be 1-on-1 on platforms where he's dual designated.
On sleeper, for sure.
Yes.
Yep. So, you go Travis Hunter 102.
Well, and then honestly, the curveball happened because I was already penciling in Tetaroa McMillan to me at the 104, and then Tet comes off the board at 3. And to me, I feel like I was just gifted Omarion Hampton at 4.
Yes.
I in no world thought that was a possibility because the guy who drafted Tet also has Xavier Legette that he drafted, I think at the 111 or 112 last year. That was just not a mock. That was not a possibility that I thought was going to happen. So
wow, he does. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, Omarion is pretty awesome there at 4. I'm excited. Joshy won't tell who you take there, but it influenced my pick a little bit there at 106. 106, I just decided not to get cute. You know, I knew there was going to be a bunch of dart throw running backs, which is kind of like how I like to play later on. So I was like, let's just take best player available, new head coach who is an offensive mastermind, potentially the new Sam Laporta in Chicago. Let's just take Colson Loveland, who I think is probably the best route running and pass catching tight end in the class, kind of by far. I do love Harold Fannin. I'm not really a Tyler Warren guy, but Colson Loveland at 6 seemed like the kind of like Abdul Carter in the NFL draft, where it was like best player available at the 106. Let's just go Colson Loveland over some of these potential running backs. So that's where I went at 106. And then the 111 was another guy that's just kind of been a my guy from the jump. I mean, I've been in on Emeka for a while now. I honestly had thought the opposite. I thought if I take Emeka, however you want to say his name, if I take Egbuka at 106, is there the potential that Colson falls to 111? And I didn't really think that there was a world where that would happen. So I thought, let's just go Colson at 6. If Emeka falls, then he falls. If not, then that's fine. You'll grab either Abdul Carter or you can get maybe one of these running backs here at 11. But I love it. I'm a fan of my first round. I don't know exactly what y'all's thoughts are, but
I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate what you did.
No, I get it.
Travis Hunter, Omarion Hampton, Colston Loveland, Emeka Egbuka. Apparently the G
Egbuka.
is silent.
Gotcha.
So Emeka Egbuka.
The Emeka pick, I was a little annoyed. Like, why is he here?
Yeah.
Why is Bobby getting? This is a 1 QB league.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he here at 111?
Mm-hmm.
And why is Bobby getting him?
Yeah, I mean,
I get it.
Tyler Warren,
Didn't care for it.
Sure.
Quinshawn Judkins,
Understand.
Caleb Johnson, RJ Harvey. I think Warren's the only one I probably would bump out of there.
Yeah, and also just to you said you didn't want to get cute at 106, and I think you got extremely cute.
You think so?
I mean, I don't know that I've seen him go that high.
I gotcha.
I like it.
I was
do
penciling
like
in with you.
Quinshawn.
Either
Judkins, yeah.
I was going Caleb Johnson or RJ Harvey there at 106
Hmm.
because I thought he loves these guys and he knows neither of them's getting back to him at 111.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think if you wanted Colston Loveland, he was also not getting there to you at 11.
I've got a little bit of an aging. I mean, I've got Kittle and I've got Likely. So I like Likely, but I mean, how long is Mark Andrews there? I'm going to continue to play Kittle. I just thought Colston Loveland's probably going to have a better, longer career. Would I rather have Sam Laporta or have Quinshawn Judkins? Probably Laporta. I don't know. Maybe it is a little too cute and we'll find out, but I just really like Loveland. I kind of fell in love with that guy. And then Emeka, man.
You got Loveland and you got Likely.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's like you and your damn linebackers in this league. Drive me insane.
So that's a fun little bunch of wide receivers. I will say my team does look a whole lot better today with Omarion than it was going to with Tet. I didn't really need another wide receiver.
I kind of wondered what you would do there if Tet fell to you at 4.
I was going to take him.
I kind of, because I know you're not a huge Tet guy. So I was thinking, okay, I don't want Bobby to go running back at 4 if Omarion Hampton goes at 3, because I'm going to take Tet.
Yeah.
But I really do need running back.
I feel like you probably wanted a running back versus Tet.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was hoping that if McMillan fell, I was like, please don't take a running back because you're not a huge McMillan guy. Because I'm not going to pass on McMillan at 5.
Yeah, I've come around on McMillan a little bit. I mean, he deserves to be in that top 5 for sure. I think we're going to look up and as Bryce Young matures, Tet's going to be great with him.
Do you think there's a tier though with that top 3?
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously, Genty is probably like his own tier, but I feel like
I would lump McMillan into that top tier.
Those top 4.
The cliff for me is after 4.
I think
I felt the cliff at 5.
I think it's. I mean, I'm a little selfish, but I mean, I think to me it's Genty and Hunter. Now, are they both going to be the same like points per game? I don't know, but I think like they both feel pretty awesome to have. But then it feels like Omarion and Tet are kind of together, and then there's honestly, I think Travion is kind of in his nice little category by himself.
Yeah,
he's not like Quinshawn where he's going to kind of look behind and see if Dylan Sampson's you know.
You still
on
have
his tail.
Ramondre Stevenson there. You still have Antonio Gibson there.
That's
So
nothing.
I think he can we'll talk about it later.
206, I go Byshaw Tootin, the RAS guy. I'm kind of over
Old Tootin.
Trevor
I remember when
Etienne.
Kyborg brought him up for the first time.
Kyborg, good guy.
Had us on
Hot.
by Shaw Tootin.
Extremely
from the start.
attractive
What's in those
individual.
beers and how many have you had?
That's right. A lot of them.
Yes, the answer
Going
is
down
yes.
smooth.
So
Too smooth.
I did like Byshaw there in the second. So let's get to the third, the 302. Of course, I took Jarquez Hunter there at the 302.
Knew that I love my favorite moment from that mock was you saying,
You want me to go ahead and take your pick?
with the pick. Bobby Reynolds.
And then we did the
selects
311.
Jarquez Hunter.
We did the 311 intro, Amber. So yeah, then Terrence Ferguson goes at the 303 to the Rams fan. I kind of thought that might happen, but then I doubled down on Adams' boy Harold Fannin Jr.
Also a move
Tight
that I
end.
knew was coming
Cleveland
after the mock
Browns.
draft. And he's like, dang, that was my favorite pick.
Yeah.
Was you going
I like
Harold
Fannin.
Fannin Jr.
Look at
never
that
ha-
room you got, boy.
Can never have enough tight ends.
Tight
around
end
this
you.
park.
Look at you.
So then the fourth round,
I
I
would
thought
be the U. Bobby has a very nice tight end.
I thought this
sir.
it is nice taunt. The fourth round, 402, Jalen Royals.
Like
That's
that
a nice
lot.
little value
Nice
fall.
one. Yeah, I like it.
Who knows between Rasheed and Worthy who's actually going to be on the field in week 1. So we'll see. Dylan Sampson got some draft capital. You know, I like Quinshawn quite a bit, but there's already kind of a little.
Seems like a lightning
rapport.
and thunder kind
Yeah.
of combo with him and Judkins.
I think both of them could potentially get the ball. And then fifth round, my last two picks.
It's important to point out, I originally had these two picks. I had 504, 505.
Yeah.
We did a little swap ski. I picked up, I think, a fourth and a third
Maybe.
and 26 and 27, something like that. So just kick that can down the road.
Yep.
Oh, so you traded out of the fifth.
I traded out of the fifth. Yep.
Gotcha.
So I grabbed some more dart throws because I do have Isaiah Pacheco. So I grabbed who I think is maybe going to be his backup in Brashard Smith. I really like Brashard Smith. That dude's kind of lightning. And then I also grabbed at the 504 DJ Giddens, the backup to JT. So that's kind of going back to like the beginning to where I didn't take Travion. I didn't take Quinshawn. I took a couple of these little dart throws later on just because I got Justin Jefferson. We got Nico Collins. We got Devonta Smith. I mean, I'm a wide receiver guy, you know.
And tight end you now, apparently.
Ricky
Sir.
Pearsall.
Not LBU, though.
No.
That's for certain.
No, got Ernest Jones. That's all we need.
Right.
Say-
Nope.
he said
Nope. So mine was simple. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. We went Travion Henderson at 105. Yeah, the cliff was definitely right there.
Broke his rule, folks.
Yeah.
Look,
Never going to draft a
Is that
Patriot.
the first
He
one
did
ever?
it.
no, I had somebody on the roster last year because I was like, who cares? Like
Yeah.
at this point, Bill Belichick's gone, Tom Brady's gone.
Who cares? I ain't a
You
man
not
of principle.
drafted-
I ain't a man of principle. Who
not
cares?
drafted Tar
Patriots
Heels
are
now.
picking at fourth or fifth. They're not great
Who
anymore.
cares?
The
I ain't got to
dynasty's
stand on
over.
something.
Look, if any Colts fan has any sort of heart for that team left after Luck retired, good on you. Because
Connor.
Connor, yeah, well, he's
Cut to
dead
Connor.
inside. Yeah, he's crying into the toilet.
No,
bowl
I
right
love
now.
your boys at baseball with number 1 and number 18.
Oh man, they are nothing if not die in the wool. Future Colts fans.
I love it.
You're their coach.
I love it. They're big Warren guys.
Are they?
Yeah, I think Jay loves him.
Man,
We were talking the other day about it.
Connor just in their ear all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
All
they
right,
should
boys.
like.
Look, let's watch some highlights as we drive to practice. Don't worry about me. I'm good. I can drive and watch highlights.
Jonathan Taylor highlights anymore.
Don't make us watch Peyton Manning's Week 13 game again, please. So round 2, I had the 105, the 205. Go Cam Scatterbo. It was really close, really close. I was very torn on this one between Tootin and Scatterbo.
I was wondering.
Ultimately, it came down to there's just Tyrone Tracy there in New York and in Jacksonville. I think ETN is a bum, but you also do have Tank Bigsby there, who I think is legit pretty good. And so it was just a matter of there's just more bodies in the way for Tootin. So that was the tiebreaker for me with Scatterbo, but it was close. I could have gone either way. And then to wrap things up, I did not have any more picks. I had traded out of all the rest of my picks, but traded back into 405. I think I can look it up, but I think I gave up
That was key, the 405, because he was going to go at the 406 to
Correct.
the old Dallas Cowboys
Right. That's
fan.
what I told Ringler was if we don't get back in here, he will not be there past 406. And Aaron, who was at 406, told me if you had not taken blue, I would have taken blue. So, again, not like a guy I'm super pumped on, kind of a lot like Woody Marks in that Jaden Blue is just a prolific pass catcher, but the room in front of him is so soft. It is Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. Like, I think that there could be a world where Jaden Blue is.
Hey, there's also the little guy from last year.
2 years ago, right? The little tiny, like 5'3" guy.
No,
Rico's somewhere else.
Deuce Vaughn.
Where'd
Rico go?
Is Rico still out there?
Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle?
Isn't he Carolina?
He is with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Good call, Bobo.
Wow.
That's weird, right? Backing up Chuba, I guess.
Yeah.
But so Javonte and Miles Sanders is dust. Like, I would not be surprised if this dude ultimately gets cut. So those are my 3 picks. We needed a running back. We had a couple running backs in this league. So
you feel like you have a running back?
Yeah, I think Henderson. I feel comfortable saying I could roll like Henderson or Scatabo out there in a worst case scenario.
Scatabo is a lot of fun.
Still want to get one more guy. Our auction's this Saturday. I'm going to try to get one more guy.
Scatabo
needs
Scatabo needs a little bit more cockiness to him. You know, he's got a little too much blue collar. Like, man, we're gonna have to earn it.
He's 44. He's number 44. That's tough.
Stop, dude.
That's
have
a
a
tough
little
look.
Have a little swagger, dude. Like, come on.
That's not the Scatabo way.
Quit acting like we got to get in here and like just dig our way through. No, go play for Detroit if that's what
This
you
is
want.
a white running back.
I love it. I love him.
What did you expect? This guy's like Peyton Hillis reincarnated. He's not going to be. I will say the Travis Hunter glow up post draft has been so much fun to watch. The sleeper. I think Sleeper was the one who kind of boosted it, but that woman's like Facebook post. She was talking about how awesome Travis Hunter was.
Yeah, man.
That was cool.
Everyone just loves this dude now.
Fishing.
He's the best. He's the best football player of all time.
Yeah, truly.
Certified.
Already. Congrats to Travis Hunter on that. Yeah, I love how he's like, don't buy me watches, don't buy me like cars. Like, buy me a boat. Like that's all. I don't care about like this fancy jewelry, all that. So this guy's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't remember who PFF I think put out a really cool graphic. It was like welcome to the NFL Travis Hunter, and it showed it's really cool. It was like, here is your cornerback matchups. Here's who's matched up against you at cornerback as a wide receiver. And then here's the wide receivers you get to face as a cornerback. Like now that the schedule release has happened. So that was pretty fun. It's just, this is going to be so much fun to see how this guy get used.
Yeah, it's the funnest thing that's ever happened in IDP.
Like, it is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
In fantasy.
So
yeah,
it's fun to be part of. This is a fun draft. I always enjoy doing this draft every year. Hope you guys enjoyed this little peek into our rookie draft from our main league. Shout out the XFFL, shout out RSO. If you want to check out a dynasty contract league, Reality Sports Online is the place to be. We've been over there for 10 years now.
Any other picks we want to shout out in here?
No, the rest of them were pretty bad.
Yep, they're all terrible.
I like Jade Barron, 507. That was nice. I'm looking at that one.
Okay.
It's a good one, solid one.
I like Kyle Williams. Shout out Harms. I think he got him right at the end of the second, right for my third round picks.
Harms had a good draft.
212. Yep.
I liked him getting Pat Bryant at 404 as well. That upset me.
Oh, Patty B. Also, I thought Jalen Milroe was a nice little grab in here. I think he was like a 5th round dart throw to the guy who has Lamar, which is kind of interesting.
Harms also grabbed Elijah Arroyo at 401.
That was nice too.
That's very nice.
But folks, I think just wait on IDP, soak up this offense.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. That's what I think I mentioned earlier, that if you listen to this show, you listen to us, I feel like the longer we do this, the more we want to go down the old bargain aisle. You know, we're not reaching for that top tier. We're looking at the bottom. You know, we got some dented cans down here.
Are you going to the cereal, the lower aisle where it's the bags of cereal?
We want the Bonitos, the Van Ginkels, the Bonds.
Yep.
That's where it's that's what it's all about.
That's
folks.
where you dig. That's
That's
free.
what it's all about.
Spend your money on the offense. We'll help you on the defense.
Yep.
There'll be plenty of gems. We'll listen to the chatter out of training camp. We'll watch preseason. We'll figure that out. And that's what we're going to be here, helping you do all off season. But thank you all for tuning into this episode. Like I said, hopefully you enjoyed Winners and Losers with Scott Bogman. Go follow his work at Fantasy Pros and in this
He's
league.
a great dude.
Awesome dude. Love having him on the show. He'll be on IDP Bets a ton this this coming season. So make sure you're subscribed over there. YouTube.com/@the-IDP show. The all IDP feed is now the home for IDP bets. So make sure you're checking that out as well. Coming up on the IDP show, we're going to be getting into it's dynasty rankings time as Adam has a heart attack. Was that a stink bug? Almost got you, Addy?
Something long and thin.
Long and thin.
Yes,
Very
sir.
scary. Yeah, there goes Adam. Long and thin. We're going to be talking top 24 dynasty edges next time we're here in the Sode Shack. So look forward to that here in a couple of weeks. We will also have Outlook for a second year IDPs over on the after show. And this is a fun one. We'll be doing Grade My D-Up draft over on IDP Drafts with Evan Ringler. So that will be fun as well. If you're going to play on Fast Draft, make sure you use promo code IDP Show. $50 deposit match. IDP Show Draft Kit now live. TheIDPshow.com. Just $5 a month. Gets you all that content that's over there. Updated all off season long just for y'all because we love you. But until a couple weeks when we're talking Dynasty Edges, y'all take care and we'll see you soon.
It's the